Alafia to the fam. It's your people's Babalawo, Esuwale Adigun, and I'm back with another video for these spiritual streets, man. So I hope y'all ready. I hope y'all ready for the spiritual endgames. And I've been talking about this for a while on my other platforms, you know what I'm saying? And basically, as African traditional religion is growing, these African traditional spirituality, um, you're starting to see the pushback against it from other institutions who want to keep things, kind of the same that it's been with other religions being the dominant. You know what I'm saying? So you have powers at play that have an effort to suppress our growth, you know, and this is happening in African traditional religion across the board, you know. But in this particular case, we're going to talk about a thing that's going on with a Shay brother, Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan. So, the movie Sinners just dropped, and it's been making a lot of wave, right? The movie Sinners just dropped, and in one of the interviews that he did on the red carpet, they asked him about his middle name, and he explained how, basically a Babalawo was involved with how he got his middle name and his mother, and basically letting y'all know he one of us. You know what I'm saying? I posted that video on my other platforms and it went Ifa viral. You know what I'm saying? It went Ifa viral, meaning around our Ifa community, a lot of people seen it. But now, because of that video, of that interview, our brother is starting to get pushback. Now, I've seen a lot of videos come across my feed, but there's one in particular that I want to do a little bit of commentary on and kind of break down because I hope y'all ready for the spiritual end games, family. And I'm telling y'all, because it's here. It's here. As more souls keep being guided with the help of Ifa and Voodoo and Palo and all of these traditional religions that we have, you're going to see more of an effort to suppress it by the other religious structures. Remember, I told y'all that. So let's pull it up. Let's break it down. So there go our brother Michael B. Jordan. Y'all should have knew. Y'all should have knew he was one of us, man. I know man. A lot of y'all intuitive, so y'all knew what's up.
Didn't I tell y'all when y'all see this face that I'm about to drop a truth bomb on you? There is a clip that is going around because Michael B. Jordan, his middle name is Bakari, but he also says that in this clip that he's a Babalawo. We're going to find out what that means. Let's watch. B. Jordan.
Before we get in, he said he about to drop some truth bombs. No truth bombs have been dropped.
The B stands for Bakari, which means of noble promise. Correct. You know your stuff. All right. Who gave you that name, and how do you think it shaped the man you are today? I'm a Babalawo, and my mom, when I was born, I got the name, fresh out the womb, and I just try to, live in that purpose, everyday sin. So a Babalawo is a
Wait a
priest.
minute. So first of all, our brother Michael B. Jordan, he had a little bit of a Freudian slip. That's when you basically say something that was on your subconscious. So when he answered the question, he really said, a Babalawo, but it came out like, I'm a Babalawo. Because as we all know, if Ifa was involved in your life that early on, there is a high chance that you initiated at some point in your life. So in his mind, he like, I'm a Babalawo. You feel me? But, that's a Freudian slip. But the brother said, Babalawo and his mother basically gave him that middle name. You dig? A Babalawo and his mother gave him that middle name. Now, here comes the flim flam.
Fresh out the I try to, live in that purpose, everyday sin. So a Babalawo is a priest or diviner in the Yoruba religion, especially in the Alpha spiritual system. The word Babalawo
I don't know what Ifa is, man. What is Ifa? What is he? What is this? If you're gonna come speaking on our traditions, like at least have the decency to pronounce things the right way. Because you coming over here and you already trying to discredit, our practice and things like that, but you can't even pronounce the words. Come on, man.
in the Alpha spiritual system. The word Babalawo in Yoruba means father of mysteries or father of secrets. Babalawos are experts in Alpha divination and are responsible for communicating with the divine through a system called Ifa, using tools like the Opeli divination chain or Ekin sacred palm nuts.
While in disrespecting the Ikin, why are you speaking on our tradition and you can't even pronounce it? People always wondered why I was a stickler for things like pronunciation, because nobody who comes into any of these traditions legitly will pronounce things like ikini fa in a way like that. You understand? Which means you're not so tied to the culture. Just think, if somebody mispronounces your name, that means they really don't know you like that. Come on.
They provide spiritual guidance, help people solve problems, perform rituals, and maintain a connection between humans in the spiritual world. It sounds like some demonic stuff because it sounds like it because it is. He's saying he channels spirits, he connects with the dead. Okay, so what is Alpha divination? It is a system of divination.
He said all that in that little clip. Did he say that? Did he say? Because last I checked, a Babalawo consults Ifa. And the word of Oludumare is not dead. The word of Oludumare is not dead, and Ifa is the word of Oludumare. See, this person doesn't know anything what he's talking about at all. He just ba 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 ba. What are you even saying right now? You see, and this is the stuff I'll be talking about, family. When you get these people and they know nothing about nothing, he chat GPT'd something up and mispronouncing everything, and then he gets this from that. Now, as a Babalawo, if you deal with a gungun, yes, at that time, that's when you will communicate with the dead, with the ancestors in your own family. Your own egungun is in that egungun shrine, right? If you're an egungun priest, now that opens it up, to a wider thing. But this is madness. Look at this.
It sounds like it because it is. He's saying he channels spirits.
He's saying it's demonic. What's demonic?
A connection between humans in the spiritual world. It sounds like some demonic stuff because it sounds like it because it is.
And what is the definition? So when these people say demonic, it actually comes from the word daemon, which actually was just a word that they gave to any being that was supernatural. This is the root word of demon. It's daemon, right? And so was Jesus not supernatural? So was Jesus not supernatural? Okay, so what is that? Demon. Watch your words, because words are important.
Demonic stuff because it sounds like it because it is. He's saying he channels spirits. He connects with the dead. Okay, so what is Alpha divination? It is a system of divination practiced by the Yoruba people of West Africa, particularly in Nigeria. It involves a diviner known as a Babalawo who uses divination, tray, and tapper to interpret the will of the gods and spirits. Unlike other forms of divination, Alpha divination doesn't rely on spirit mediumship, but on a complex system of orally transmitted text that the Babalawo memorizes and interprets.
Do you see how what he read just discounted what he said? He speaks about how Ifa divination doesn't rely on spirit mediumship because it's a divination system. You understand? When they're saying spirit mediumship, they're really talking about like the dead. Ifa is a binary coding system. You understand? So when you consult Ifa, Ifa is showing you the inner coding of the soul of nature. This is what Ifa is showing you when you consult Ifa. When we use Oprele, when we use Ikinifa, this is what's going on. All right. So the person doesn't know what he's even talking about because even from the stuff you read, it just discounted what you said. Because you said that our brother Michael B. Jordan was channeling dead people because he consults Ifa. You get what I'm saying? When you consult Ifa, you're not consulting dead people. You're consulting Orunmila. Orunmila is not dead. What is this?
What is examples of divination? Modern forms of divination include astrology, horoscopes, scrying, tarot cards, and Ouija boards. The Bible speaks against divination. Here it is right here. In religious context, the sin of divination is the act of seeking hidden knowledge or foretelling the future through non-divine means, such as consulting spirit mediums, omens, or other supernatural forces. It's considered a sin because it involves seeking knowledge that God has not chosen to reveal, and because it often involves demonic or spiritual forces that are not aligned with God's will.
And this is now where the arrogance of Christians is on full display. Well, what I would say, believers, the arrogance of believers. There's a lot to unpack with this little piece. You're saying that we're foretelling events with non-divine means. How can something be non-divine if you're dealing with the divine? Do you know the definition of divine? Do you know it? Do you know the definition of divine? Is the question. Okay? So you're saying that we're getting information through non-divine means when literally in the word is divine, divination. What are you talking about? This is family. Bots. These are people that are being sent by other religious organizations to throw dirt on African spirituality. Period. Okay? Now, you're saying that knowledge that God has not chosen to reveal. Well, when we look at Ifa, the word of Oludumare is the word of God. Oludumare is what you would consider God. Oludumare is the all. So when we're consulting Ifa, we are directly consulting what you call God, what we call Oludumare. You understand? But for some reason, believers think that only they have the true interpretation of what God is. Only they have the true knowledge of what God is, and it's in a book. It's in a text. Abomination.
Scriptures talk against divination, supernatural forces. It's considered a sin because it involves seeking knowledge that God has not chosen to reveal, and because it often involves.
If God didn't choose to reveal it, then why would we know it? If the Bible says that God is everything, and why would we know it if God didn't want to reveal it? Why would we know it? This is the weird stuff that I'm talking about, family. Listen to this.
Demonic or spiritual forces that are not aligned with God's will. Scriptures talk against divination, necromancy, enchanters, witches. Read Deuteronomy 18:9 through 11.
He hit him with the Hebrew Israelite. Read.
God's will. Scriptures talk against divination, necromancy, enchanters, witches. Read Deuteronomy 18:9 through 11. He also says he channeled Chadwick Boseman.
Now this is important. And this is why us as Africans within the diaspora don't have any business dealing with these books. Okay, so if you read this verse, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. So this is speaking to the chosen people, and they are not to follow what's being done by other nations, because this God is a jealous God. So this God is a diva, and it doesn't want you to, have any dealings with anything connected to anybody else other than the commandments that it lays down, right? Or the laws that it lays down. And honestly, we ain't a part of these people, what they talking about in the Bible. That's their story. That's their fairy tale. That's not ours. We have our own mythological literacy or corpus. We have our own mythological corpus of our own deities that have nothing to do with the Bible, that have nothing to do with the Quran, or nothing to do with the Torah. So we do not need to piggyback off of anything that this book says, because literally we have an extensive system of Odu Ifa with 256 Odus. Do you know that every Odu by itself can be considered its own book? And you cannot buy it for $9.99 at Walmart like you can these other books. Okay? Because Odu Ifa is forever evolving. Okay? And it's alive. It's not a dead scroll. So let's understand that, this is why I don't advise our people to even get involved with those practices, because it literally does not fit us. It's not our story. You understand? Any of that. So what's the point? We have our own stories. You know what I'm saying? And every group of people on this earth has their own stories that tell their history as their people. And our stories tell ours. So in my eyes, yes, Obatala molded me out of the clay from the earth. And you know what? When you look at what a human being is made of, it's the same composition as the dirt, and it's the same composition of stardust. Okay? Google it. Now, how did Obatala get the dirt to mold us? Eshu went and got the first grain of sand that Akamada breathed into, and Eshu got that grain of sand and brought it down to Obatala, and Obatala began to mold our bodies out of it. Okay? So let's just understand that every group of people has their own, you know, stories of origin stories and things of that nature. We have our own. We don't need a King James. We don't need King James. Okay? The only King James that I acknowledge is LeBron James. And that's that.
Through 11. He also says he channeled Chadwick Boseman in the movie Sinners. This is how him and many other actors are able to display certain characters. They tap into the spiritual rhythm and align their spirit with demonic forces. Seek the Most High Yahuwah for information, not New Age, not African spiritualism. Just drop the truth bomb on you.
He dropped nothing. Doodoo bars. It's trash. You know what I'm saying? He dropped nothing. This is what I'm talking about, family. Are y'all ready for the spiritual end games? Are y'all ready to stand on tradition? You gotta understand, there's a reason why when I came into the spiritual community as a figure, I was very strict on following tradition and doing it the way that our ancestors did it, and not getting caught in people trying to twist this or twist that to fit their narratives. No, there is a concerted effort to distort our traditions. So you have to have wisdom. Stay as close to how their ancestors did it as possibly that you can possibly be, because there's people who are trying to distort the practice so that they can take the power out of the practice, so that they can make it less effective, so that people can walk away from it as they walk into it and say, oh, that stuff doesn't work. The way that your ancestors did it is how it works. You understand? This is why I'm very traditional in how I do things. You know what I mean? And anybody who's one of my students would tell you that when I teach you the way how it's been done. You know what I'm saying? Sure, as time goes, there's small adjustments that may happen, but the bulk of what we do is it's very much has been this way for thousands of years. You know, and we're going to see more people like this come out. He's not the only one that came speaking negatively about this movie and our brother Michael B. Jordan. He's not the only one. It's just a video that I seen where, he was really trying to act like he really dropped some facts because he done pulled out scripture and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But the other people, they were just being basic, like, oh, Ifa is wicked or whatever. But nah, listen. Moving forward, y'all gotta be on point. Y'all gotta be on point, and y'all have to know the ways in which these people are going to try to trick you out of position. Don't be that person. Stand on the egungun. Stand on them. You know what I'm saying? Strong. You feel me? Stand strong with the egungun. They're gonna stand with you. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna keep pushing this thing, y'all. I'm so happy that my platform has has started to gain more and more notoriety within the last year or so, because when you get people like me who actually go back and forth to Africa and actually are amongst the people who practice this, who brought it forth to us. I actually have been in the bush, been in the villages, been with those elders. You know what I'm saying? I've actually seen things, seen these spirits, these Orisha in their elements, where a lot of people have not experienced it. And so when I'm speaking from a point of view of somebody who's been there. A lot of times people like us, we get buried in the algorithm by the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? People who are pushing, y'all know what's out there. But now it seems as though we're starting to get this uptick of appreciating authentic practitioners, appreciating people who authentically are a part of the culture. And so, we got to keep this movement going, y'all, because this is a movement. We got to keep this movement going. And I'm going to do my best to bring other practitioners from other African traditional religions, other African spiritualities together so that we can stand strong and we can keep this ball rolling, man, because Ifa is growing every day. I seen a statistic the other day. It said I think Ifa is like over 100 million worldwide. You know what I'm saying? Of practitioners. So like, come on, yo. Ifa to the world. This is Ifa. This is Ifa. And we're not going to let people come and disrupt and come and twist our culture and do all of this weird stuff that they're trying to do. Straight like that. And this is from Omo Eshu. Eshu son. You know what I'm saying? We just not going to do it. We not. So I'll catch y'all on the next one. Or Dabo.